Hey.
Hey, you know what? It got better towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually the beginning of the intro of the music, it seemed a bit wonky, and then it almost like it ironed its way out.
Well, it's almost like you have to run the countdown and then run the intro, and then maybe it'll work for a change. But I don't know. I
Hey,
figured
John.
for a time sake. What's up, folks?
Hey, everybody. How are you?
Mr. Rob. Rob's still on cloud 9 from that Justice League Snyder Cut trailer. We're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about 80s sci-fi movies, if I could talk. And I got a bunch of things to show you guys. So welcome to the Sidekick Show live. I see. Whoa! Look at a whole bunch of people in the chat already. Look at this.
Yes,
that's pretty cool.
Hey, happy Family Day to those who are celebrating. Oh, yes. Not every province has it, so happy Family Day for those. John, did you have a good Family Day, man?
Yeah, I slept for most of it. I got destroyed yesterday. I went to a sledding hill with my daughters. And don't worry, it wasn't one of those packed ones like you see on the news or whatever. It was actually only like a handful of people. And my youngest daughter, she's only like 3, so she can't go up and down the hill herself. So I had to go up and down and pull her all the way up and let her go down. It was a ton of fun, but it's probably the most physical activity I've done since this lockdown. What has it been? A year? We're at a year.
We're approaching a year. March 13th was a Thursday, and my kids got off the bus and they were like, is it true we have 3 weeks off for March break? And I was like, yes. So we are approaching 1 full year since this whole thing is really kind of has all unfolded. It's been absolute chaos and crazy. And of course, thank you to all those who are tuning in. Listen, hopefully you've got your shovels and salt bags ready, because apparently if you're in Southern Ontario, we're going to be getting hammered pretty hard with a snowstorm. I just came back from walking the dog. I'm in the eastern, western part of Durham. And it is starting to come down just a little bit. So wherever you are, stay safe, stay warm. If you have a wood fireplace, get her going. And yeah, I guess we're going to get into, we have a lot to talk about today, John. So why don't you tell us what's going on in the store this week?
So I'm going to go over the new releases. If anyone's joining us who's new here, thank you for joining us. All you guys who always join us every week, thank you so much for doing it. It's awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Look forward to this every week, and even on the social media when we kind of chat back and forth. It's a ton of fun. So let's talk comics. So comic wise, we're hopefully going to get the comics on time. I don't know. I've already been given a heads up. If this snowstorm hits us hard tomorrow or tonight, it might show up late. So we'll see how that goes. So let's see. Batman and Catwoman #3 is coming out. That is the Tom King 12-issue maxi series with art by Clay Mann. We have Black Widow #5, Cable #8, Captain America 27. We have a new Daredevil trade, the Chip Zdarsky Volume 5, Truth Dare coming out. Dawn of X trade paperback #13. That's a cool graphic novel collection where basically they collect one issue from all the different X-Men books. Mm-hmm. So the #1s, the #2s, the #3. So each month you can kind of like follow along in this kind of, I don't know if you're familiar with Japanese manga, Rob, the Shonen Jump style, where they would have a whole bunch of different books in one, and you would just pick up that magazine and be able to read everything. So it's kind of cool if you're into the X-Men stuff. The Expanse #3, based off the TV show, a lot of fun from Boom Studios. Family Tree #11. A whole bunch of future state stuff. So it's winding down. I think this is maybe the final week. I could be wrong, but we got Catwoman #2, Immortal Wonder Woman #2, Next Batman #4, Nightwing #2, Shazam 2, and Superman Worlds of War #2. And then we also have Guardians of the Galaxy, an Image book that got a lot of heat called Haha #2. I don't know if it's maybe a Joker-ish or whatever. Immortal Hulk Flatline #1. Iron Fist, Heart of the Dragon #2, Iron Man #6, King in Black #4, the Donny Cates Venom symbiote kind of crossover from Marvel. King in Black, Planet of the Symbiotes #2, Marauders #18, Miles Morales #23 is a tie-in to the King in Black series. MODOK Head Games #3, Once in Future #16 from Boom Studios, one of my favorite books. Power Rangers #4, Thor #12, really hot Marvel book right now. TMNT The Last Ronin #2. So that's the random fly flying around. Yeah,
there's nothing flying around.
I've gone crazy. I'm sorry.
Yes.
TMNT Last Ronin is the story of in a kind of like an alternate world where all the turtles died except for one. So there's one turtle kind of carrying on the legacy. I won't reveal who it is in case some of you haven't read the the spoilers yet, but I was pretty excited when I found out which turtle it was. And then we do have a Marvel book coming out called X-Men Legends by Fabian Nizia, I think. He's a classic X-Men writer, and art by Brett Booth, which is classic X-Men tales, and supposedly they're in continuity. So if you're kind of like a classic Jim Lee-ish era looking like, X-Men blue and gold team where Cyclops is in the classic blue and yellow costume, I think that book will be a lot of fun for you guys.
Now, Brett Booth is Canadian, I think, isn't he? Or is he from Calgary? Maybe not. I don't know.
I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember seeing him a lot.
He was with DC for a really long time. Like, he was doing Titans. He did The Flash, a really long Flash run, right, with the New 52 stuff. He did Titans. So I haven't seen him in a long time. So interesting that he's over with Marvel now.
Yeah. He's kind of all over the place. He's done like a whole bunch of like for all the different companies. So let me see here. I'm gonna try and get this slideshow working. All right. So we also do have the new McFarlane DC Multiverse figures coming in. So I'm going to show you some of them here. So this is the latest wave here. We're just getting them over here in Canada. So this is a Superman Red Sun. And McFarlane is just pumping out these figures like crazy. But they're really nice. These guys are going for around a $26.99 price point if you're in Canada. So they're really, really good kind of value for what you get. Look at this. Superman comes with extra hands, and it actually comes with a flight stand. Lost my mouse cursor. And then there's the Batman Metal. He's got a cool trench coat and everything. He's got a big scythe. And they actually come with this little collectible card, which is kind of like a fun little bonus feature. This is the drowning one of the X-Men Batman crossover characters. So it's like Batman mixed with Aquaman. So she's pretty cool. And I think she's the last part of this whole team of death metal bad guys that you can get. So that would be cool to have that full set. This is Damian Wayne as Robin, which looks really good. I think this is going to be the hot figure from the set.
Yeah, that looks really cool. Although that really sword looks about
this is definitely warped. Not to throw back to the other Robin we talked about last episode. But yeah. So this is but it's a really cool figure. They don't make a lot of like kids style, like kids characters is what I want to say. Action figures. So it's kind of neat to see this. They did a 2-pack before of the Damian Wayne and the Jonathan Kent for DC Direct.
Right.
Became a little bit hot. And then we have this cool like Bat Cycle accessory. So this guy's and this is like a $30 vehicle. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And so sorry, you guys that's in the store this week?
That's coming. Yeah, that's en route right now. I'm waiting for the shipment. So it'll hopefully arrive just after Family Day. So all of you enjoying Family Day. I know Scott mentioned that he does not get Family Day, and you said some of the other I think our friends in Montreal and stuff don't get.
Yeah, they don't get Family Day.
They're always like, what holiday? I'm like, is holiday going to affect our shipping? They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
As you're like drinking in the afternoon, and they're like slaving away, and you're like, oh, sorry.
Sorry, I'm just chilling at home. And then we also are getting the new Pokemon Shining Fates our allocation this week. It's gonna be pretty scarce. So if you're already on our list, great. If you're not, then you can get added to our list, and hopefully we'll be able to accommodate you later on. But like Pokemon is like blazing hot right now. I don't know if you follow any of the card scenes at all. But Pokemon, hockey cards, basketball cards, all these kind of like collectible card type stuff is like super hot right now.
I wanted to ask you about that because in the last maybe 10 days, like all the different Facebook groups I'm a part of, or the Instagram stuff, like on, a lot of the comic forums I follow, those 1991 Marvel cards are huge. Like they're
I heard those. Yeah.
Like I have, that Stan Lee one where it's all, it's his face, but it's all the different characters he created. Apparently that one's going for like some serious coin, and like people are looking at getting them graded. Now, I don't believe CGC does grading. I think Beckett might do the grading on cards.
Yeah, but I think there's two companies that do grading, but grading is taken off. So people are taking those Marvel cards, series 1, 2, and 3, which you would previously find at conventions. I would see them a lot at toy shows. Yeah. And you could get a set for like $10-$20. You could get a binder full of them, the whole set. And a lot of people send me messages and, hey, look what I found in my basement. I'm like, oh man, those are cool, but they're not worth much. But now I'm gonna have to message all those people back and tell them that they're actually worth something.
But something's happened, and I don't know. I'm every day. I'm not exaggerating here. Every day I'm seeing posts from people who are either looking to buy them, who are selling them, or are saying, hey, should I get these graded? I don't know what happened. I don't know what's happened in 2021 that these cards have suddenly gone bananas. I don't get it. I have a set of the first wave of 1991 stuff. I don't. They're just sitting in a binder, like you said. Like I don't do anything with them. So I'm like, maybe I should just sell these things. Like I don't understand why this is. Because you're right. You could go to even those local toy shows. You know, we have the one in Ajax that you or the one in Mississauga, and you would get the whole stack, right? In a case. Yeah, you're right. $10-15. Maybe you can talk them down a couple dollars. Like it makes no sense to me why these things are like a hot commodity. I haven't checked the eBay prices, but like people are offering like stupid money for some of these cards, and I don't get it. So hey, there you go. Comic book corrects on.
Yeah, it's the whole market is changed now. Even just the spec books and comics, first appearances, everything. I guess maybe just people latched on because there's not much else you can do right now. But I think that's it that I've got for new releases. I will quickly mention, if you're not on the Heroes World Instagram, to follow us there, or the Facebook. The posts get kind of cross posted. We do try and post everything up there. So we did get a very cool set of Back to the Future stuff from NECA. I know we're talking 80s and things like that. Yeah. And then we did have this nice Terminator set. And they even have like a cool They Live like set coming out and things like that.
Sweet. So it all ties into our 80s sci-fi action. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. I got some news, John.
Yeah,
I do. I'm not going to get too into the news. We have a lot of things to talk about tonight, but a couple things popped up that I thought you might be interested in. Something just actually dropped about an hour ago. It's always like right before we jump on the show, something happens and I take a look at it. I'm like, oh, so, Mission Impossible. This is Tom Cruise, like big franchise. And the last two movies, he's Christopher McQuarrie has directed. I think it was Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation. So they were set to now film 7 and 8 back to back. And we talked a number of weeks ago, I think it was way before the holidays, Tom Cruise went on, he exploded about the whole COVID issue with some of the not the cast members, but the behind the scenes guys were not taking the COVID measures seriously. And so anyways, what happened now is because of COVID, they are now not able to film 7 and 8 back to back. They've finished filming 7. Scott McQuarrie, aside maybe doing some pickup shots in London, to finish off some certain scenes that might need to be retooled. They've done 7. The problem being is that Paramount, which obviously runs Mission Impossible franchise, they also have the movie, is a small indie movie, John. I'm not sure. It's called Top Gun 2 Maverick.
Yeah, it's filmed on a bunch of Apple boxes and like low budget, very low budget.
It might be in black and white. So with a Leonard Cohen song in the background. So
oh god.
That was supposed to come out in July of last year of 2020. Then it got pushed to December. Well, now it's scheduled for July of this year, and that means that Tom Cruise will now be gone and doing a whole bunch of promo work for almost 3 months. So he will be unavailable to film Mission Impossible 8, but Mission Impossible 7 was supposed to come out this year and 8 next year. It's literally a domino effect of what's happening with COVID. All these releases being pushed back and retooled and new dates, and it's just going to be bananas, right? So they are coming for those who are big fans of the Mission Impossible series. I can't believe there's going to be 8 of them. That to me is bananas in itself.
Yeah.
But
definitely better than Bond.
Anyways, John. One of your favorite movies, and something that I have a sneaking suspicion will probably come up in the eventuality that we do best action movies of the 90s, which I think some people would like to see. Your favorite movie, John? Face Off. Face Off or Waterfall.
I actually think Con Air wins in a one-on-one fight, but Face Off, yeah, definitely one of the 90s classics and part of Nicolas Cage's dominance of that portion of the 90s.
Right. It's getting a remake. So Adam Wingard is the director.
Remake, not continuation, right?
No, an actual remake. Adam Wingard is the director of the upcoming Godzilla versus Kong. He's been tapped to do a remake. No word of whether or not Travolta will be back or Mr. Cage himself. But Face Off is batshit crazy movie.
Gordon just mentioned it now. The whole I could eat a peach for hours or whatever. Right. That's whack. Yeah. That's whack because he's talking to his character who's his daughter, like the he's wearing John Travolta's body, I guess, and he's talking to John Travolta's daughter, and he says that line. It's like, why? And I didn't get it when I was a kid.
You just got it last week when you rewatched it.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of want to talk about what happened on Wednesday. Wednesday of last week, the 10th of February, was a messed up day. and so here's we have the Heroes World podcast guys, the four of us, we have a little group chat, and we're always posting videos or breaking news or whatever, and then we say, you guys seen this? And John's like, no, I haven't seen anything. There's like too many messages happening. I don't know what's going on.
There is a lot of messages happening.
So here's how I want this is and we're not going to get into specifics about a lot of things, but this is how Wednesday started and ended. Okay, you ready, John? First, news broke that there was a lot of controversy with respect to Joss Whedon and how he was treating some of his actors during the Buffy time. One of the actresses came out and made a posting online, and obviously it started to pick up a lot of steam. That was Wednesday morning. That was then quickly followed about an hour and a half later by news that Mahershala Ali was signing on to play Joel in The Last of Us from Naughty Dog, the video game for Sony PlayStation, which will be shown on HBO in Canada and the US. That Mahershala Ali was going to be the main character. Now, if you've played the game, you know that Joel is a Caucasian male, but so this is like a game changer, no pun intended. Mahershala Ali circling the role, looks like it's going to be in the bag for him. And then about 90 minutes later after that, Bella Rose, who played Lady Mormont, I believe, near the end of the series of Game of Thrones, the young lady, she was then cast as Ellie. It was confirmed that she's Ellie in The Last of Us. So you start to see, holy crap, we're having a Last of Us like influx of information here. And then all of a sudden, about an hour after that, Deadline reports, no, Mahershala Ali was circling the role some time ago. He's decided to walk away from it. He's not going to be in The Last of Us. You're like, okay, that's fine. Mid to late afternoon, Gina Carano is now, it's been trending all day from people who don't want her being part of the Star Wars universe anymore. She is then fired from Lucasfilm. They've essentially said, we have no further projects with Ms. Carano, and she is not going to be part of anything going forward. So Gina Carano gets fired, and maybe 30 minutes after that, her Mandalorian co-star Pedro Pascal is then confirmed to play Joel in The Last of Us on HBO. So that was just on Wednesday. Like that was I've never seen a crazier news cycle day. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of controversies, a lot of shit that we're not going to get into. But in terms of just following this news, the trending of what was happening, like that Wednesday was mental. It was and so you are excused for not being able to follow along, John, on the email trails or the text message trails in our group chat, because it was all over the place. So that was just Wednesday. Nothing happened on Thursday.
Yeah, so Thursday nothing happened, except for if you follow my buddy Toying Around, he had an amazing interview with Paul. I forgot what his last name is, from Kim's Convenience. Yes. They really did a deep dive into Star Wars and all kinds of fun stuff. So definitely check that video out if you have a chance. But with new news from Comic Book Craig, he actually says the Facebook was stated as a direct sequel.
Facebook, you mean Face Off?
Face Off, yeah. Facebook, different movie, right? Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh wow. Okay, so
if that's true, that's kind of crazy. I wonder how that whole the whole laboratory that removes your face and leaves the extra face floating in a petri dish of water and all that, like, oh man, like
yeah, just bananas. Actually, something I wanted to mention to you though, because we're going to segue into the Justice League trailer, is that if anybody is a fan or follows Ray Fisher, who is Cyborg, obviously we know there's been a lot of stuff with him, but he posted some stuff on his Instagram stories yesterday, and I think they might be gone now, but he actually posted 2 of your buddy Conor McGregor art. he posted a retweeted or re-storied two of his posts. So that's pretty cool that Ray Fisher liked the art that that Connor had done and put it on his Instagram feed, and it blew up considerably. So a big shout out to Connor McGregor Art, whom we've talked about on this show and the other ones, and you know, definitely give him a follow, and he's got some great stuff on.
Good friend of ours. I'll drop his link again in the description again. Yeah, really nice guy.
Yeah, and aside from that, John, it was Valentine's Day yesterday, and what better way to tell the world that you love them than by releasing the most amazing trailer that we could possibly want during this pandemic?
What are we doing?
All right.
Are we talking about the Snyder Cut trailer? Is that
we might as well, John. It's 8:20. Sure. See, this is what happens when you drink and vlog.
So the Snyder Cut, the new trailer just dropped on Valentine's Day the 14th. It was at like 11 a.m. in the morning or something, in the middle of our WandaVision podcast. And this guy over here, sorry, the mirrored thing, could not resist. And actually during the podcast, you'll notice all of a sudden he's kind of like looking down. He's watching the trailer. He couldn't wait. He could not wait.
I can tell you exactly what it was. It was on. We were talking about Batwoman. So if you have watched the podcast that came out yesterday, we talk about obviously WandaVision episode 6. We talk about what else did we talk about? We talked about what was coming out in the. Well, Andre had some stuff. Yeah, we talked about Keanu Reeves not maybe being part of the Kraven. Your hate on for Keanu Reeves, and then we talked about Batwoman and how we kind of quasi reviewed the first episode. Well, during that segment, when Andre was talking and giving a very deep dive into the history of Batwoman and the creator and this and that, I did look down because there was a countdown happening for the Justice League trailer, and I looked down and I saw it, and you'll be able to watch it because my face glows a little bit because the iPad comes on, and I'm sitting there and I'm doing this, and I'm like this, and then at one point I go. So yeah, I was completely enthralled with the trailer, and in fact, I actually sent you a message like right after because I was
this guy in the middle is like, and I'm like, all right.
Andre's going on about the importance of Batwoman as a character in comics, and I was like, I'm out of that conversation. I need to watch what's happening.
It was a great speech by Andre.
Yeah, and it was. I didn't take
Reeves
any.
Is an amazing human being. Just throwing that in there.
We talk about Reeves how amazing,
breathtaking. I believe is the quote, right? We talked about Justice League, Wonder Woman 84. Yeah, okay. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in the comics. We're gonna dive back into those. Do you want to dive into the comments, or you want to start talking about this trailer a little more?
It's whatever you want. Yeah, I don't know. I don't care. It's whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can dump into. We can jump. I just saw Sarah talking about the dumpster fire profile pic that Sarah has. That I believe I think it was a gift that she received, but I believe that you may have orchestrated something with that. Is that correct?
Maybe. I cannot say what happened there. I don't know if she's opened it. Yeah. So yeah, we set that up for you. That's one of the new products we got in. So it was a fun little night light. You put in some batteries and it actually lights up. I thought it only lit up the fire, but I saw Sarah post it on her Instagram and it's on her pic there. If you kind of see it, it lights up the whole dumpster, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's kind of in scale with sorry, I'm clicking too many things here. It's kind of in scale with a lot of the action figures that I collect. So I think I'm gonna have to get another one later on. So how about this? How about everyone start dropping your thoughts on Justice League, and we'll kind of go into the trailer a little bit, and then we'll kind of jump back through the comments as we have time. But thanks so much everybody for jumping in there. This is always a lot of fun. Did you freeze, Rob, or?
No. I was just going by and just kind of taking a look. I know that Comic Book Craig was talking about a song. I don't know what it is.
He says War Power on YouTube. So I guess it's the Justice League song that they played during the trailer.
Oh, is that okay? Listen, so let's just get it out of the way. Let's be thankful first that it was in color, and that there was no more Leonard Cohen in the background, because I don't think I could have handled that. I was actually, it's actually really funny because John sent me a text and he said because Zack Snyder has confirmed that he's also releasing a black and white version of this, but he calls it Justice is Gray. So he says it's not black and white, it's in gray scope. Black and white, but John didn't read the article. He just saw the headline, and he's like, "If this thing is in black and white, I'm out. I'm not watching this movie."
Well, we've talked about how he loves to do things in black and white, and he's always wanted to do a black and white project. So if he drops this 4-hour movie in black and white, I don't know. I'd be very interested to see if I could actually stand that. But so let's talk a little bit about the trailer, Rob. Do you, so everyone start talking about the trailer, or I guess listen in. We're not going to play it because
we're going to play the video, but we're not going to play the audio.
We're going to have the video, but we're not going to have the sound on. So do you want me to just hit play, or do you want to go through a couple frames, or you want to just hit stop?
No,
I did not nerd out as much as you did.
Yeah, we can just go through it. I mean, if anything comes up, we can always just start. I mean, listen, this obviously is taking place. This is immediately following BVS, right? I mean, this is a great shot. First of all, the music that was used in this trailer is phenomenal. There are a lot of shots that are in the movie that we've already previously seen. One specifically coming up, and we'll get to. Listen, Zack Snyder is very known for this type of color palette. It's almost like I don't even know what we're trying to. It's like a weird kind of colorized sepia. It's a lot darker than I think we're used to. Maybe a lot of the complaints that people have, the difference between his DC movies.
So that thing
and
we just saw, this is the Batman. I guess it's known as the Dream Sequence or the Dark Side World sequence or whatever.
Nightmare sequence. Yeah.
This actual version of Batman has had a lot of merchandise made for him, like action figures and all that kind of stuff. So people dug this, but I know a lot of people were confused when this popped up in the movie.
Well, so now that actually, if you pause it again, John, so the Batman, that a lot of this is new scenes. A lot of that we see in this trailer with Batman are new scenes that Ben Affleck came back to film for this new movie, this new version of the movie.
Yeah. I wonder if you're going to be able to see it, because I feel like the mask wasn't cut properly for that movie, so it would kind of push his face like this. I don't really see it in this side profile, but this is a pretty kind of blurry, zoomed out shot. So I wonder if it's going to look any different. But yeah, when I watched it, I'm like, I don't recognize any of this stuff. But
yeah. So now so this scene was in the other movie, but now so stop it here. So can you go back a second? So first of all, you've got obviously Darkseid. You have, I believe that's Desaad on the left, and then you've got Granny Goodness on the right. What do you think about Darkseid, though?
He looks good as a movie representation. I think he looks pretty good. There's a lot of armor plating going on here, but that's in style with what Snyder has done for a lot of these movies, right?
I've always thought that Darkseid was a lot more and it's hard to really kind of judge it based on what we have here, but I've always expected him to be more broad.
Yeah, in the comic he's a wider dude, but the human anatomy it can only go so so wide. Even though this looks like it's heavily CG doctored up.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just surprised that he didn't go a bit more broad. I do like, and now here we go. Steppenwolf has been he's been redone. I mean,
Wolf, right?
Stephen Wolf, yes. For those who didn't tune in yesterday to our initial reaction,
we have an initial reaction video, which was kind of fun.
John thinks his name is Stephen Wolf.
First.
I actually like the look of this Steppenwolf as opposed to what we had with Joss Whedon's. I guess the big thing for me is that it's such a difference in what we had in 2017 to what we're getting.
He wears a helmet in the other one, I believe. A helmet, and you can kind of see a human face.
Yeah, his face is cut out, and he has those tendrils off of his chin and stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm Stephen Wolf of Wall Street. You got nutted. Obviously, we saw a lot of these scenes in the original movie.
That was another this is cool.
Yeah,
like a helmet and stuff. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to slow it down.
Yeah, so now they've changed obviously not only his face, but the armor he's wearing as well is vastly different than the one that we had. So Zack Snyder has gone on record and he said, I'm not using any of the footage that I haven't filmed. So it is very interesting to see the changes stylistically that were made by
a lot of people were saying only 10 to 20% of the original movie was his footage. I don't know how accurate that is.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure. I have a funny feeling that
sounds crazy.
Craig would know more. He seems to be, yeah.
I think he's the one that mentioned it in our comments, but it seems crazy. But I guess the number, I guess, could potentially be exaggerated, as in how much footage they filmed overall, which is, I believe Snyder is known to film reels and reels, like lots and lots of footage, especially now that everything's digital, hard drives full. So a lot of it might have been footage that's just on the cutting room floor. So they're like, use 10 to 20%. Yeah. But I do feel like that previous movie was pieced together enough. And it did look kind of like the edits and the continuity and stuff like that. I feel like they did try to salvage more than, I guess, 10 to 20%. But who knows? I don't know. We'll see. If this is completely new, like this trailer, I didn't recognize any of this stuff.
Now, yeah.
Like there's the Batmobile. That's one of my favorite things in this movie.
Yeah. So now that was like the Chernobyl area, right? So I don't know if this is still taking place in Chernobyl. I mean, now this clip is what we saw in the original trailer that never was in the movie, right? And
this is like Aquaman. This is pretty blurry. It's Aquaman fighting Stephen A. Wolf.
Yeah, Stephen Wolf of
Amy Adams. Definitely give her more screen time, please.
And again, that was part of the trailer that we saw. The original trailer that again did not make it into the 2017 movie. So now here we go.
Was that Kevin Costner?
Yeah, so this is, if you go back, this is the shot when they drop Clark into the Genesis Matrix when they try to revive him, but they actually put in that photo of his dad that they put in with him at the end of BVS. Again, this shot was not in Whedon's movie, so it's very interesting that to see that it's included in this one, because I think it is important that it's included in. I mean,
I'm curious to know if how much Costner gets for this. Kind
probably
of cameo
a big fat zero.
Of a photo, yeah. This is Ray Fisher. I don't know if we ever saw him in his.
No, we never did.
Letterman jacket.
No,
I've always wanted one of these jackets since I was a kid, but I don't sports, so I was never worthy of getting one of these.
Yeah. Now my understanding is that there's a lot of this movie is now here's the new Iris. But I was gonna say with Ray Fisher. A lot of this movie, you're going to see a whole hell of a lot more cyborg than what we've been accustomed to seeing in the 2017. Now, obviously,
look at Henry Cavill's back. Like, look at this guy. Freaking hell. All right. Anyways,
that was actually modeled after my back a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before the pandemic, and I just enjoyed.
This Flash scene was in there, though. This Flash scene was in the movie, right? I feel like I've seen this Flash.
Yes, this part was in it when he's talking to Henry Allen, to his dad, and stuff like that. Now obviously and again that scene was in it. We know that this scene was in it. The problem is that a lot of these scenes were redone by Whedon. So is it the original is it the original script? No, come on, you got to go back. I mean,
I'm trying.
First of all, look at that black suit Superman. Now I understand that
I remember this suit. Yeah, there's a company called UD Replicas that makes replicas of the Batman suits from the Nolan run, as well as the Superman suit. And they released, at one point, they had for sale this almost bodysuit jacket. And then when it didn't appear in the movie, it got kind of like completely removed. So it's kind of neat to see this back in action.
Now, my understanding, though, is I thought that Zack Snyder said he's actually digitally coloring this into the black and white, the black and gray version of his suit. So I don't know.
They could have produced that jacket or that replica based off of original production things, and then it just never made it. Because I remember looking at those jackets. I think they sold them for like 800 something each, and going, "Hey, that'd be cool." But
yeah. Now again, it goes back to the fact that a lot of these shots might look familiar, but the dialogue it might be different. We don't know. Now, obviously, this is the end shot.
So he's wearing a SWAT vest. This was the big reveal, right?
Yeah, and now this specific scene was done with the reshoots that they did in 2020.
Yeah,
and so now there's
the mask does look pretty good on him. I don't know if this is a completely different mask than the regular Batman mask, though. But if you do watch some of those old ones, like you'll see that his face looks very squished.
Well, yeah, but hang on. But so pause it for a second. You're right, but the problem is that he gained a shit. So after the whole thing with Zack Snyder leaving and Joss Whedon coming in, they did a bunch of reshoots. And there's a scene you can definitely see it as an example when Bruce Wayne goes to visit Aquaman, and he's got a thinner face and then a chubbier face and then a thinner face and a chubbier face because they redid some of those.
So he was probably in
shots.
superhero shape, and then to do the Joss Whedon reshoots,
he was not in superhero shape. So that's where
they probably didn't have time to redo the costume. So they were like, "Oh, here's the costume when you were a little bit lighter."
Yeah, so I think that Ben Affleck himself has gotten back into a more of a thin shape or thinner shape, so that would explain. Now, here we are with Jared Leto's Joker. This was obviously a big reveal last week that Snyder had released a photo of him. As we can see that there is no more tattoos that we are able to discern, although there might be something
here on his cheek.
Yeah.
I feel like the tattoos wasn't my issue with this particular character during that movie.
I would like to think, though, and I don't know how much Joker we're going to get in this. John, you've surmised maybe 2 minutes. I would like to see Jared Leto give a proper take on the Joker, because he is a very good actor, and I would love.
Rob is right now demanding the haircut.
I am not demanding the haircut. I don't think the haircut could redeem that movie. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for this. And if you go back a little bit, John, if you can rewind a little bit back to that scene with Batman, if you just slowly keep going, keep right there, the cyborg in the background,
like a blur.
Yeah, right there. I mean, that's unmistakable cyborg. So now this Joker supposedly in timeline is after Suicide Squad, a number of years later. So I don't know if this is still the nightmare dream sequence. Comic Book Craig has earlier in the comments suggested that it might be. I don't know if he has inside information or if it's a theory of his that Bruce Wayne has actually been propelled into the future, into a potential future, and so that's what this is. We're actually looking at a possible future timeline. So I don't know. All I know is this, John. I mean, I've watched. I'm not even going to bother asking because I know you've only seen the trailer twice. You would count now
in the comments. What do you guys think of this Joker? While we talk a little bit more about it. I know. I think it was Frazier said he didn't. He doesn't. He's not a fan. It looks like. So I will say, like, the Suicide Squad Joker. I feel like I didn't have that big of a problem with him. It's just the entire movie just turned out to be a mess. So I think given a proper story, he might have had a chance. Yeah, there we go. I'll grow it out.
I don't even know what I was going to say. I've watched the trailer a number of times. I showed it to my son. I had to explain to him why there's a new version coming out. Listen, this trailer is great. It's probably the best thing that we've seen from Zack Snyder. I mean, we got that teaser back at DC Fandom back in August, and we were all kind of hyped about it. But again, it was mostly black and white and had the Leonard Cohen song. So I'm really glad we have a proper trailer. There's enough in this to know you say, oh, it's in, I recognize this movie, but there's enough new stuff to say, oh, this is something maybe completely different than what we got. And that's exciting, I think, for a lot of individuals, and exciting for people like me. I'm stoked to see this. Like March 18th, today is the 15th of February. We are, just shy of a month away, of 30 days away from this movie coming out. And it'll be on Crave in Canada and HBO in the US. So I'm all for it, man. I can't wait. I mean, I might take that Friday off.
You're totally gonna do it. You had to watch that trailer in the middle of a conversation, which is funny. It'd be like if me and you were talking face to face, you'd all of a sudden be like, "Hold on a second." But anyways, Jonathan Joe mentions, it's a knockoff Ledger. With the long hair and the kind of like exaggerated or the makeup kind of going protruding from his lips and stuff like that. It does look very Ledger like, but maybe maybe that's okay. I don't know how you would rank the Jokers. Like, who's your favorite Joker? Rob, is it Heath Ledger?
Well, it's not Cesar Romero, I'll tell you that. I mean, we're talking about cinematic, and I'm non. How about we're talking about real life? Because I think we can all probably agree, Mark Hamill's Joker is, that's the Joker I hear now when I'm reading the book. I always kind of hear Mark Hamill's voice. But I would say, yeah, in terms of pure, like a psychotic, equal to Batman, I think Heath Ledger nailed the Joker. I mean, I was a big fan of Jack Nicholson's Joker growing up, but in comparison, no, I'm definitely going to go with Heath Ledger on that one. We just haven't had nothing against Joaquin Phoenix's Joker movie. I only saw it in the theater once. I haven't seen it since. I actually found it to be very difficult to watch. Not because I didn't like it. I just found it very heavy. And so I haven't gone back into it. I liked his portrayal, but he wasn't the Joker in that movie until that last 15 seconds. So I would love to see what he could do with that character as the Joker, but as a character in and of itself, you got to go with Heath Ledger, in my opinion.
Yeah, not Nicholson. I'm surprised you're not a Nicholson guy because you're Batman 89.
I am. No, I do. No, listen, listen. You have to remember, in 89, the only thing we had before that, we didn't even have Mark Hamill. All we had was Cesar Romero, who refused to shave his mustache, so they painted over. So we had no Joker, right? Like, you didn't have anything. That was your joke. Like, well, okay, cool. But yeah, but then you see what Ledger does. You're like, aha. I honestly, truly think that Jared Leto didn't get a fair shake. Although I don't know how much of what he crafted, physically for that character was his idea, and how much of it was David Ayer's. I just wasn't a fan of the tattoos, but he did have moments where it was quite menacing, like that whole tattoo, that smiley face.
He seemed like he seemed like a scary dude. Yes. I like the pink Lamborghini. Michelle mentions pretty much all the Jokers are kind of cool except for Leto. She didn't really like, but maybe that's because he wasn't really given his fair shake.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm interested to give him another stab at it. He's a talented actor, I believe. I haven't watched a lot of stuff. Gordon mentions the classic line, "Have you ever danced with the devil in the film?" They both deliver that line, right? Nicholson and Keaton both deliver the same line.
Well, Keaton delivers it back because Jack Napier says it to a young Bruce Wayne in the alleyway, right after he kills his parents.
Yeah. Sorry, the comments are moving, so I'm trying to grab them. Sarah says she's Jack Nicholson. Ledger was solid, and she did actually like Leto in Suicide Squad.
There are moments.
I feel like the movie was just a mess. So
No, there are moments. That's what I'm saying. There are moments in Suicide Squad, like of his performance, where you could see, oh, I want that Joker, but then there wasn't a lot of him in it, and then it got all kind of bananas, right? So I listen. If they released the Ayer cut, obviously I'd watch it. I mean, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not clamoring for it, but I am intrigued enough to say I want to see what that Joker, given more screen time, would be, because apparently they cut quite a bit of his performance out.
Yeah. Gordon mentions that Leto was riding around Toronto on a bike in character. That's hilarious. I know Momoa has been spotted around getting bike rentals and riding around, which is freaking cool. But yeah, I think do we want to wrap up that the
No, I'm excited. I'm excited for it, John. I mean, I've watched it, it's got to be, I don't know, into the maybe close to 20 something times. I'll keep watching it. I like to see new things kind of popping up. I like kind of figure out it's a very interesting world where we're going to have, we've got one movie that, you can watch right now, that could completely pale in comparison to what's coming out, and yet there will be some DNA of each. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you'll be like,
no, it's kind of neat.
It's weird.
And I feel like we're going to touch on it a little bit when we start talking our 80s movies. But some people are like, oh, why remake all these things, or why redo all these things? It's like maybe some of these things need like a second chance, or maybe they could have why scrap the whole thing because it's been released once, you know? Like in theory, it should have been that the Josh Whedon cut, and we never get to see it again. So everyone's predicting. I am genuinely concerned because of Wonder Woman 84 fiasco, but that'll start a whole nother.
Wait, are you concerned about that the movie's not going to be that great? Or are you concerned about my mental well-being if the movie's not that good and I'm off the deep end? Because I'm so into these.
I think there's going to be enough in that movie that you'll be fine, even if it becomes controversial. I don't think it can become what Wonder Woman 84 is because they've had so much time to work on it.
Well, I think here's the difference is that Wonder Woman 84 sold us a false bill of goods. They gave us these wicked trailers and it turned out to be nothing. We have Justice League already. And at the end of the day, if that was the only Justice League movie we were to get for the next 20 years, you at least you gotta be able to say, well, at least we have a Justice League movie. At least we got that. If it's not great, at least we got to see these guys on screen. But now we have the potential for a better. Here's the reality. It's not gonna be worse than what we got. That, 4 hours is a long time. Knowing that it's really his part 1 and part 2 kind of put together makes it a little bit easier, I guess, to understand. It's like Kill Bill 1 and 2, and you slap them together and watch as one big movie, which is how it was originally intended, but I digress. It's not going to be worse than the Whedon cut, so it can only get better. But will it be
famous
exponentially better, or will it be marginally better? That's the barometer that we're just not sure of, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's otherwise we're going to go on and on about.
Thank you, Sarah.
We hope you're right, Rob. Everyone here hopes you're right. Like, I hope it's a fantastic watch, which would be a nice break because hopefully if we're allowed to have social gatherings I think it's March 18th.
Yep.
Hopefully I'll be able to have a couple friends over. Oh, it'd be so amazing if we could have everyone over and watch this together, but I don't think we're going to quite be there in March, but you might be able to invite someone from your bubble over to watch it with you. So let's yes, he's become he's been around long enough to become the hero that we deserve. I don't remember what the line is, but I feel like we should rewatch those Batman movies and rate those, rank those. Which ones?
I'm all for that.
So Justice League, let's get that out of the way.
Yeah,
thanks a lot, folks, for participating in that, and maybe we'll come back to it, or maybe we'll do a Justice League Whedon cut rewatch before this one drops, or something like that if people really want to go through that again. I remember it was all right in the theaters, but that's a whole other thing. We already talked about the podcast a little bit, so I think we're good with that. So let's we're running out of time, so let's get into our 80s sci-fi bracket. So anyone tuning in for the first time, we are doing our sister bracket to our 80s action movie showdown. We kind of decided one bracket previously, which was all kind of 80s bullets, explosions, cops, and basically regular dudes, or unfortunately there wasn't too much female representation in that bracket. But we do have a pretty good contender in this one. So now we've switched it over and we're doing a sci-fi fantasy, although I don't know much of the fantasy got in there. Maybe Highlander. But let me read the movies off to you guys. So Aliens from 1986.
Do you have the bracket?
Blade Runner. Yeah, I'll put the bracket out. I just wanted to go over the list of the movies first. Blade Runner, the final cut. So we're judging the final cut because it's on Netflix. And it is supposedly the cut of the movie that Ridley wants you to watch. So I don't know if you've watched all the different cuts or not, Rob. But the original theatrical cut had Harrison Ford narration, and they had all kinds of different things going on. Highlander from 1986. John Carpenter's They Live from 1988. It's always fun when you have the creator's name before the title of the movie. Predator 1987, RoboCop 1987, The Running Man 1987. Wow, 87 was a good year. And The Terminator 1984. So that is our 8 movies. Originally, we thought we were going to have a solid 4, but we decided to throw in a couple possible contenders. Thank you, Sarah. Sarah's hardcore. Sarah and
awesome.
Jordan, I think they've gone through almost all these movies, I believe, and that's kind of cool that you guys are able to transport yourself back into the 80s and kind of
to help follow along with us, because it's interesting for those who haven't been able to watch any of these. If you can, please do, because I would love to get your opinions. I'm very much looking forward to discussing it more in depth and get Sarah's input on some of these movies, because today the 15th. So I've watched Highlander, Blade Runner. Highlander is on Amazon Prime if you have it. Blade Runner: The Final Cut is on Netflix. And I just watched, it's the final cut. And then I just watched Predator today with my son. So I'm rewatching all of these. But I would love to get if anybody are able to watch along and to join us each week as we talk about, that'd be great.
Yeah. So the Final Cut. Thanks for the correction, Scott. Ripley, right?
Wait, what are you talking about?
The director? I'm
talking
about the name of the director. I think I probably said Ridley. Ripley.
Yeah, it's Ridley Scott.
Yeah, Ridley Scott. Yeah, he's talking about Ripley from Aliens, I guess, right?
No, he's talking about Blade Runner.
Oh, okay.
The Final Cut.
Yeah. The Final Cut. I believe it's the most recent cut that had a lot of special effects added on after the fact.
Doesn't make a difference.
Yeah. But okay, well, we'll get into that later. So. But anyways, okay. So I'll pop up the bracket. Let me see if I got the bracket here. Let me see. All right. So let's get this other screen here. I don't know if you can see this. So we've got our best 80s sci-fi action movie. If you want to follow along, next time we'll drop the link, or I'll drop the link later on. But it's challenge.com/80s sci-fi. And we've got, this is a preliminary bracket here. So let's look at, let me make sure all the participants are in correctly. Yeah, everything's there. So let's hit. Sorry, there's a lot of stuff that I should have done beforehand. All right, let's start the tournament. All right, so this would be our pairings, barring any kind of doctoring of them. So for those of you on the audio, we would have Aliens versus Highlander, both from 1986. So that's kind of interesting. Predator versus Running Man. So two Arnold Schwarzenegger movies in the same year. That's pretty crazy. The Terminator versus Blade Runner, The Final Cut. From 1982, and then RoboCop versus John Carpenter's They Live, which is kind of an oddball pairing, but it had to happen here somehow because I feel like nothing else fits.
We're already getting Lewis is saying that it's rigged to use 3 Gs. I think he's referring to Martin Riggs from Lethal Weapon. Hey,
so this is what exactly I was talking about. Michelle says Ripley from Aliens directed Blade Runner. Yeah, I'm saying there's a reference to the Ripley character from Aliens. But anyways, I'm not super crazy.
Yeah, it might be a little bit. Yeah, so this is interesting, and I don't know if we want to. I guess next week we'll knock a couple of these off.
We can have a brief discussion. I feel like we did have a strong top 4, which we've rigged it because we didn't want to eliminate anything too early. So Aliens, Predator, Terminator, and RoboCop were our solid top 4 previously, and we kind of slotted in some others so we would have a little bit of a nice rounded bracket at 8. So I have talked to a couple people about Highlander. So I don't know if you want to talk about Highlander a little bit, because
sure.
we want to maybe let people avoid seeing things that maybe we didn't.
No, they should all watch it, especially.
No, we should watch everything.
Should watch everything. When was the last time you watched Highlander?
I just watched it a couple days ago, but before that was when I stated back in grade school, a teacher wheeled this in on the TV and VCR and played the class Highlander. I don't know what for reason. I feel like it was a history lesson because of the whole jumps into the past thing. But I feel like this teacher was probably just a fan of Highlander and was like, "Hey, I'm going to show these kids Highlander." But man, alive! What a great time when teachers were able to do that and show kids movies of people getting decapitated.
Yeah, so this is an interesting movie. We've talked a lot about this, John. And it's going to be a theme, I think, we're going to continue to discuss, and that is the notion of nostalgia and how it affects your memories of things. And also, reality is this, folks: we are getting older, and these movies are stuck in a time capsule, and we watch them through different lenses as we continue to grow, however many times we've seen them. I was a huge fan of Highlander growing up. I watched it as much as I could. Rewatching it this past weekend, my memory of this movie is better than this movie. Not to say that I don't enjoy it. I understand that why it's a cult classic. I get it. It looks like it's not made with a lot of money, and I didn't pull the figures up because I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about it today or not. But this movie, the premise is phenomenal. This is a movie that's begging to be remade with a big budget, where you don't need a lot of computer special effects. But I'll tell you what you do need. You do need a little bit of special effects, and if you are in a sword fight and you chop somebody's head off and you gain their aura, their soul, you need more than just somebody shining a big light at you and doing this to make it look like you've gained.
During the early scene, cars actually start moving forward, which I don't understand. Because it's basically causing the engine to start up, combust, put it in the drive, and drive these cars forward. So the quickening is a hell of an advanced phenomenon that it's able to operate motor vehicles.
You see lightning everywhere else, but except for the person. Like, why wasn't it? And so it was interesting because I think I had mentioned, if you people follow me on my Instagram feed, I watched this and I started laughing. I was like, they cast a French man to play a Scot. They cast a Scot to play a Spaniard, and they cast nobody to play a Frenchman. Like, it makes no sense. Christopher Lambert he can't pass for a Scottish person, even though he goes, I love. That's not Scottish. You're not speaking with a Scottish brogue. I don't get it. I don't understand what they were doing with the casting whatsoever. It made no sense to me, except for Clancy Brown. First of all, it was a young Clancy Brown, and man, that guy brought his A game. Like, he steals this movie as Kurgan, especially when it's quote unquote modern day, when it's, in the 80s and he's in New York, and he's the punk rocker or something like that. The scene in the church and him driving, and he's like covering his, like, man, he was so funny. I was killing myself laughing at that. He did a great job. But this movie again, it's a cult classic, and you can tell why. It is a movie that's it's in a time capsule that has nowhere else to go. It's a low budget movie. And again, if you follow me on Instagram,
is it low budget?
Yeah, I think it was, John. I can quickly look it up. If you follow me on Instagram, you're gonna look it up. Yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, you can take a look. I actually did some screenshots. You can they left in shots where you have harnesses holding up the actors and the actress holding, like, it's not that difficult to just, to not put those shots in. Like, if you're editing that movie, why would you keep a shot in of the harness belt around your actress's waist? Like, it's very obvious it's there.
Yeah. So Gordon says 19 million, and I confirmed on Wikipedia it's 19 million. It only made 12. Mm-hmm.
Inflated like 19 million in today's dollars, or was that
back then, and then it only made 12.9 million. So it actually, I guess it was considered a flop.
It was. However, I will say, one of the best soundtracks of any movie in the 80s. I mean, you had Queen that soundtrack, right?
Yeah, the intro, when I fired it up and they're playing that Queen song, I don't know what the actual name is. I want to call it Princes of the Universe, but I don't know if that's the actual name of the song.
Yeah, it is.
But they're playing that song. I was like, oh man, I'm in for a treat. And then they proceed to get to that first sword fight in the parking lot. And I actually spoke briefly with Gordon about this, and it's like, wow, choreography and stunt work has come a long way, because that sword, I swear that sword fights were good back in the day, but it's pretty rough. Watching now, the choreography and the sword play and all that kind of stuff. So it's
now, so you mentioned that in response to my post, but it's interesting. I actually really gave that comment you made a lot of thought, because if you look at the original Star Wars, like The New Hope, the lightsaber battle between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader is really bad.
Oh yeah, right? Yeah. Darth Vader can't move. That was a problem with that back in the day, and even just a lot of the fight choreography, especially now when you compare it to what we've come to now with guys like Tony Jaa and even Tom Cruise doing his own stunts and really going all in for it. Keanu Reeves and John Wick, like he's even come a long way in just his ability to portray action on the screen. Yeah. So it's kind of something that I guess hasn't quite aged as well, because you can't even blame it on special effects because they're just dudes fighting in a parking lot.
And there was no real stunt choreography for fight like that. There was like it just American movies, they just didn't really have it. So it was is what it was. That fight scene between Kurgan and Ramirez, played by Sean Connery, as that castle thing is crumbling. First of all, I noticed that he and Connor McLeod's wife were sitting there having dinner. This is with their home, but they had no bed. And they had stairs that went up, but there was nothing at the top. There was just a spiral staircase.
I remember that. I wasn't sure if my memory was bad. Yeah, it's like half a house.
But all there was just the kitchen table. There was no other. I don't know where they slept, and so as they're being pushed into these bricks, they're falling apart and this and that until eventually all you get is this like one staircase that's broken off, and it looks like the album of a rock, the cover of a rock album. You know, you got the two guys up there, the lightning is flashing in the silhouette, and you've got this lonely staircase, right? And these two guys, and it's just this. Like it's not fast. It's awkward. It's just like, oh, please, somebody just do something. Yeah, it was not good. Not good. So I feel
like even the general. So our people that have done the recon as well and have managed to digest Highlander. I think we can actually decide this one really quickly.
So we're saying Highlander beats Aliens. Is that what we're saying?
Get out of town. Man, I know for sure Aliens is better than Highlander. So I'm just going to send that to you right now. Save us some time. I don't know.
I do wish, though, that Highlander, like they talked about doing a remake of that a number of years ago. It's been on, and I just wish that they would actually go ahead and do it because, in all honesty, the premise is fucking solid. You just need to have a really good execution. I will, though, say, when you have the fabulous Freebirds opening up your movie, the wrestling, come on, man, you can't go wrong with the fabulous.
I was wondering where they're going with this. I'm like, is one of the wrestlers a Highlander? Like, I was like, and it wasn't. It was like literally just like I don't know what you call it, like B-roll footage or just scenery. I don't know what's going on in the chat, but I just folled the last bit here. It's kind of funny. Highlander is not fetch, and then
I don't even know what that means.
What's going on here, but yeah, Scott says fetch is not a thing, and then Michelle is like, stop trying to make fetch. Like, oh man, this is great. I
don't even know what fetch is.
You guys are awesome. This is amazing. Let's talk a little bit about the other stuff. I feel like we could definitely extend the hours of this show if this shenanigans is going to start going on, but everyone's got other things. We don't want to keep you guys too long. So Predator, Running Man, I think we should leave this. I think this is actually going to be fun. I really think Predator is going to win this, but Running Man, I feel like it has a chance. It feels like it has a chance to kind of like come up with an upset. Terminator versus Blade Runner. I'm halfway through Blade Runner, the final cut, but I feel like Terminator is going to edge this win. Like our top four is so solid. RoboCop versus They Live. I'm actually looking forward to watching They Live, but I feel like it's not going to be able to top. Who do you remember who directed RoboCop? Scott, it's a big deal, right?
It's I can't believe you just called me Scott.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Maybe I'm asking Scott.
Joe Carnahan, right? Who did Starship Troopers? Paul Verhoeven. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Carnahan. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to rewatch those ones again because again, I have a memory of RoboCop being something, and this is the problem: is that even though I've seen some of these movies, I watched maybe 5-6 years ago. Watching it with today's the lens of today's movie going eyes, where you see the spectacle of stuff, it's hard to still appreciate what it was because you just have that nostalgia. You've grown up watching these movies, and so yeah. Sarah, you're wrong. You're completely wrong. John, are you frozen? I think John might be frozen. I'm not really sure if anybody else. I'm not sure if anybody else is. Maybe it's me who's frozen and everybody else is going on. I'm not really too sure. Oh, there you are, John.
Yeah, sorry. I'm gonna move to another floor. This is getting ridiculous.
Yeah. So at any rate, so that's where we are. I don't. I think we have to watch the rest of these to give them a fair shake.
All right, should we aim, like, Sarah really wants to get into this Running Man, so I feel like we should at least all try and watch Running Man.
Yeah, we can watch it for next week.
And we'll and I'll discuss with Sarah. Maybe we'll have her come on and defend this movie and see why it should be better.
Which you're already setting the stage for its failure by saying that. That's hilarious.
I think it could possibly. I actually spoke a little bit with Rob earlier, and Predator, in my kind of like top whatever of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. I don't know if Predator makes the cut for me. I know a lot of people love it.
It is interesting. And again, I just watched it today with my 12-year-old son. And it is very I know, right? That's good parenting on my part. I'm actually thinking of showing him Aliens as well. It is interesting to see for him to see it like through his eyes when he's so used to these Marvel extravagances.
What is this? Why is this guy singing in a car with neon lights all over his body?
No, we watched Predator. So
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I would show him Running Man.
I don't know if Running Man's gonna cut it.
Yeah. I was trying to see if Running Man was available on any streaming service, but I don't think it is right now. At any rate, that's where we're at. Yeah, we can tomorrow. Next week we can tackle Predator versus Running Man. That's not a problem.
All right, so we'll at least so slate this, folks. So we're at least going to talk about Running Man, and we might enlist some help in talking about Running Man, depending on how we feel after we watch it. But yeah, we'll certainly let Sarah at least make her case.
Although Sarah does have to watch Predator, so she's just come out that she hasn't seen Predator yet, so she does need to watch, because it might then change her opinion on them on the whole thing completely.
Yeah, I'll have to reread. There's a portion of Arnold's book that he talks about making the Running Man and the issues they had with it, and that because it's based off a Stephen King novel, but it's not stated that it's based off a Stephen King novel. I think because it got so radically changed.
Yeah.
So I'll have to try and reread that chapter of his book and see if I can provide any other insight.
Well, Craig, you're gonna have to come back on next week and talk about this, because I'm maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. That's all I'm gonna say. I just want to say thanks. John and I say this a lot throughout the shows, and we're not doing it just, to kiss anybody's ass. We're really appreciative of all the comments and all of the interaction, whether you're joining us live, whether you're listening to us afterwards, whether you're watching us afterwards or a few days later and you're taking time to comment on the YouTube or anywhere else. Man, thank you so much for everything. These comments, as we've continued to do this in the past number of months, especially since we've gone live in November, the interaction with everybody has grown exponentially, and it's been a lot of fun seeing the chat. And sometimes we can't get to everything and all the chats that are happening. But it's nice to see though that you guys and girls are interacting with each other. So that's awesome. And this is kind of what John and I wanted to do with this, is make it interactive, make it fun. Obviously a bit of a departure from what we do on the main show. And I think you all joining us every Monday is proof that, John and I were, we were right to do this. So
yeah, if we could do this every day, that would be freaking awesome. But hopefully when things, if anything ever returns back to normal, it'd be a lot of fun for everyone to get together and pick an actual movie in the theater.
We'll try. Maybe we can try to figure out. We can block off part of the parking lot outside the store, John, and we can do a live show,
like drive through.
do a live show in the parking lot and block off certain. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun with having everybody on. So thank you for your participation and for watching with us, and for just for being you guys, even if you're making fun of us. We still love you.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and read the chat. I don't know what happened up earlier, but that I caught only like three message exchange, which was hilarious. So I'm gonna have to see what was going on there, and if stop trying to make fetch a thing becomes a t-shirt or something, that'd be great.
I don't even know what that meant. I thought maybe she meant Fletch and she forgot the L, but I don't know. Yeah, you're right. We're gonna have to go back and figure out what the hell that was about because I was very confused.
It was great. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, yeah, all right. So, do we want to talk to anything about anything else? Yeah. So we're gonna Predator Running Man next week. I feel like we can talk a little bit about Blade Runner if anyone wants to watch Blade Runner on Netflix.
I have
to at least get a feel for it.
It's Blade Runner versus Terminator, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be an easy. Like I don't know if Terminator can get eliminated this early, but I think it's worth checking out Blade Runner, and maybe we'll run some of you through the replicant test. The very like odd questions that they were asking these people to determine if they were replicants or not. So,
well, I would listen, and if those who are actually watching, and whether now or later on or listening, if you do have an opportunity to actually watch Blade Runner, I would ask that you do it because I have a theory, and that there are two people in this world, two types of people. One who like Blade Runner, and two who say they like Blade Runner, but they really don't. And I'd be interested to find out where each of you fall into that camp. Because I know where I fall into that camp, and it's not the former. So
the fetch. The fetch is from Mean Girls. Good. Sorry, Michelle. I totally forgot. I actually have watched this movie recently with a bunch of my nieces who I didn't know were not actually allowed to watch that movie. But anyways, I was like, oh man, this movie is great.
All right. So yeah. Fetch. Okay. I don't get it, but all right. But I'm gonna I
think it's part of we'll rewatch Mean Girls after.
Oh gee, thanks.
Will be I don't know what that's considered, a teen comedy. I watched my fair share of those.
With Lindsay Lohan?
Yeah, I believe it's Lindsay Lohan, yeah. But I think it's one of the Mean Girls who comes up with that line, so I that's hilarious.
Rachel McAdams, right? Rachel McAdams was one of the Mean Girls, and it was Tina Fey. I think that was her first movie that she wrote.
Oh, really? Tina Fey wrote Mean Girls? Yeah. Damn. All right. Anyways. All right. We'll see. I think Rob's going to be a replicant for sure.
Yeah, you're going to find out. We might have to do like a special Sidekick live show on like the Friday, John, because yeah. Wait, sorry. On Wednesdays we wear pink. Sorry, why is Sarah saying, "Oh, do not watch it"? Do not watch what?
Blade Runner. She's talking about Blade Runner.
No, I think you should. Perfect. This is the thing, and it's
no.
Not...
I think Blade Runner is for a specific audience, and I actually had a quick discussion with Gordon about it too as well. So we'll cover that next episode. But yeah, I think Blade Runner unfortunately is for a very specific audience. Even the remake, which I think performed pretty poorly in sequel 2049 performed very poorly. It has a very specific audience, and it's not as wide as I think they thought.
I went to the theater to see that movie because I'm a big fan of the director Denis Villeneuve. I love his shit. I did not enjoy Blade Runner 2049.
Oh really? Wow. I still haven't watched that one, so I'm gonna have to. I got it on DVD, so.
You're right. It is for a very specific audience, and I was under the impression it was for stoners, and it's not, because I used to be a huge stoner. It would have made me fall asleep. So, all right.
Oh man. Okay. We're gonna stay all night. This is fantastic, guys. You guys are awesome.
All right. Well, thanks everybody.
So this guy over here, Rob Gaudet, you can find him on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me jho.heroesworld on Instagram, my shenanigans. And yeah, definitely get at us in social media if you want throughout the week. It's a lot of fun to chat with our new friends. This is pretty awesome. So I know Rob already did a whole speech, so I won't get into it again. But thank you again, folks. Anything else you want to say? I think that's it. Right?
Listen to the main show this week. We talk about Wanda. It's out already. WandaVision episode 6. We talk about. Sorry, I'm not like pinching my nipples. I was scratching myself. We're talking about
you're showing off your Tool shirt or something like that. I'm like, okay, we get it. You like Tool. Every white guy around your age likes Tool. We get it.
Shut up. We talk about
if there was an album dropping right now, you'd be in line.
I have it up here. I actually do have it. We talk about WandaVision episode 6. We talk about Batwoman, the first episode. If you haven't seen the show yet, the reboot show with the new actress, definitely listen to us and maybe give it a go if you have an opportunity to. We talk about Keanu Reeves not joining the Kraven series in the MCU. And Andre gives us some recommendations on things you can do to pass the time. So there you go. That was it. Aside from that, see you guys next week.
See you guys. I guess I'll play the outro since it's for
completeness
sake. All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right.